that it?
Now it is. There we go. I'm going to let Wanda handle it tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Can you make it happen?
I can. It's Danny and Wanda from Deepsouth Homestead. And it's telling me I can pin a message at the top of a live for viewers to read. Okay, we ain't interested in
that. All right, let's get this here.
What are we doing?
We're going to finish up what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. Okay, now.
Okay, are we all right?
We're okay now.
So,
all right.
Everybody's popping in saying hello, 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 hello. Way too many for me to even think about.
Yeah.
We got Miss Lippy tonight.
We do. Got Miss Gemini.
She changed her channel name from Gemini Homestead to Miss Lippy, so you guys...
Oh, there's Permapasture Farms.
We've got Miss Lippy and Permapasture, and there's probably others that are our moderators tonight. And they always do a good job. And we want to say thank you, Miss Deborah. They always do a great job every weekend.
Fantastic. Everybody do a really good job.
And they keep our chat rolling. They keep the links up. That, like if we talk about something or somebody in the chat asked about something, they help answer questions. They put links up. And y'all, they do a great job. They don't have to do this. They don't get paid to do this. But they are good.
They're good. They're probably the best I've seen of any YouTube channel out there. We probably have the best moderators.
Yeah, we do. I think they're the best. Anyway.
Question is, how long will rendered leaf large stay good once it's put in jars and sealed? We're using it from 2018 right now. So 19. I'm sorry, from 2019, and it's ours is still good.
A little over 2 years old now. Hills Mills, hello. Yeah. Danny was snacking on pecan cookies.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he was eating.
We were running in here because I've been getting the latest update on information going on in the world, and I didn't want to leave it. Wanda goes, Danny, we've got 2 minutes. And I'm like, but I need this information. And she's like...
He's going to have to watch it after the fact.
She said, you got 1 minute now. I'm like, oh, my God. So I had to turn it off and run in here, and I was eating my cookie on the way in here.
Yes. All right, so...
Linda says, finished building her hoop house today. And good. You're going to be just in time because we got a big warm-up coming in the country. Let's say in the southern part of the country anyway. I don't know about the northern part.
I don't know. Well, I put up a video on Crazy Days. It's kind of a semi-tour. It wasn't really a tour, but a semi-tour of Deep South. I showed things that caused me to think spring is here. I had a lot of people going, you know, spring ain't here yet. We just have some more cold weather. Well, and we usually do.
Well, we got this week. We got 3 days of cold weather coming this week, but I see nothing after that for us.
And it's not below freezing.
No, none of them are freezing, but they're in the 30s, but they don't freeze.
Yeah. And so we have all kinds of things blooming. We have a lot of the trees, the leaves budding. The leaves are coming out. And Danny noticed what one...
oh, Pamela, I am so sorry.
What you call it? What was that tree? Is it an oak?
What? Oh, yeah, red oak.
He saw one, the whole top's already got green leaves popping out.
Phil, no, Putin is not going to be the Antichrist. No, I have no doubt about that.
Somebody asked for prayer for, I think,
brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law
leaves for the Congo on a mission trip tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to tell you something.
Twisted Ponies had their first Dexter calf this morning.
Oh, great. The situation tonight in the United States is very serious. Mm-hmm. The next 24 to 36 hours will be serious for the United States. There's some things we're at now. Our DEFCON went up one notch.
3.
It went up to a 3.
Which just means caution.
Yeah, we're at caution right now.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything's happened, just cautious.
The whole East Coast is on alert. The whole West Coast is on alert. Vladimir Putin just moved hypersonic missiles into areas. He just moved nukes into certain places.
Everybody's on pins and needles.
Everybody's on pins and needles right now. So that's why y'all seen me. A lot of people made fun of me and Wanda for putting the EMP shields and all on our home and on all of our stuff. Guys, some crazy stuff can happen. I mean, the next 24 to 36 hours, or 48 hours, let me say that, is going to be very iffy.
So just keep your eyes posted.
Keep your eyes posted. Now, I'm going to tell you this about DEF CON. DEF CON is not going to show you if it goes to number 1 or number 2. What you're going to see is you're going to see lots of aircraft in the skies everywhere, because they're going to be scrambling, because we have nothing that can handle hypersonic missiles right now. And these planes, you're going to see aircraft in the air that you don't even know we have. There's going to be stuff everywhere.
That's if something happens.
Yeah, that's if something happens.
So don't be waiting on a YouTube DEF CON, hey, look, this is what's going on. Be paying attention to the skies.
Yeah.
Paying attention to your local news.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think you're going to have time. I don't think the news is going to say anything. I think what you're going to be sitting here, you will hear the aircraft in the air, and you'll be going, why is all this aircraft up there? Be prepared. If that happens, get ready, because something has happened.
And we're just praying that nothing happens over the next 48 hours. But they're saying pay attention for 48 hours.
And I'll tell you why. Because Putin made a statement. He said, if anybody does anything, I will counteract it. And guys, tonight, SWIFT was shut down for Vladimir Putin, the best of what I was able to find out.
That's cutting off his money.
That cut his money off, and he's not going to... Now, it's not going to affect him immediately, because he has backup finances, but guys, he will retaliate, I promise you. And he's already don't like the West, like big time, don't like the West.
Lippy said that she got a notice from the bank to pay attention to withdrawals to protect your bank funds.
Yes.
And 2, over the last 24 hours, there's been some cyber attacks. So pay attention to anything you do online. Pay attention to anywhere you go and buy something, or anytime you pay a bill, whatever, pay attention to all of it. Make sure it's right. Because we do everything online now. Everything's online. And you never know when your power company might have been glitched or something.
Yeah.
And so if you go in and pay your power bill and pay attention, make sure all of it's right. Those are just kind of things to pay attention to over the next few days.
Yeah.
And just pray like nothing is going to happen. So now let's talk about spring.
Someone says, do you need an electrician to put an EMP shield on your house? I actually have a video coming up as soon as Ms. Wanda will put it up. It depends on your skills as an individual. If you can install breakers inside your panel box on your house without worrying about anything, like installing a couple of breakers, you're perfectly fine doing it. You just have to use the precaution that I've seen Biloxi Air Force on there, that an electrician would use. It's very simple. I did mine, and I done one. I talked to the company. Mine is a little bit different than most people's would be, because they told me they did not have one like I had, because I spent some time on the phone with them making sure of a particular type that I wanted to put in and the way I wanted to put it in. And they told me they would love the video to come out, because they don't have one the way I'm doing mine out there. But mine is a little different, and it took me 30 to 45 minutes to do it, because it was different. Had it been normal, I could have done it, in a couple of minutes. But
Angie said she saw that it's at DEF CON 4. I went over to the DEF CON site.
Yeah.
And on that site, it shows in the middle, it'll show updated, I think it says updated or some word like that. You click on that, and that brings up the page to what's going on at this moment. Yeah. And it tells you we're at 3, and it explains what's going on in the world.
Yeah, DEF CON 4 was done on the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
We were looking at update. They updated it today.
Yes. So it won't go out on YouTube till probably tomorrow. So that's what I'm telling you. You won't know for a day or two. Everything's delayed. Everything.
Brenda says they turn the EMP shield off just like Dish Network. You can't turn an EMP shield off. It is impossible. And I can't go into the details of it because I promised the company I would not. But you cannot turn it off like a Dish Network. It doesn't work off of satellites. It doesn't work off anything like that. It's totally a different mechanism altogether.
All right. Did I move my cannon jar quilt to the cabin? Yes. Danny had an interview with Andrew this week, and I didn't feel like the cannon jar was appropriate for an EMP shield interview.
Right.
And so we're going to do something different here in the future. We just hadn't had time. We've been very busy. And the carrot manuals, thank you all for buying. And
yes.
I shipped out everything up to Wednesday, I believe, if you've ordered since Wednesday. Everybody should be getting their manuals in now because I shipped everything out. I think I spent 3 or 4 days packing books. Not only the carrot, but the sweet potato and the English pea books. Thank you all. And I spent days, and I had a toothache on top of it, a bad toothache. And so we went to the post office on Tuesday, and we took half of them in. I spent, an hour?
Yeah, an hour at each post office.
Well, that morning in the post office with what I had. Then we had to pick up more books because we had to reorder because we didn't get all of them the first time. And we sat in the parking lot, packed up the next, I don't remember how many it was. It's more than the first order. I already had the envelopes wrote out. He packed. I was in the post office another hour and a half. So we were 2 post offices that morning. And on the way home, my tooth was hurting so bad. And I said, look, we got to do something. So he made me an appointment. We turned around, went back to town. They told me it was very infected and that it might need surgery. But then they decided to do it next week. Possibly, so I will be going back for that little bit of a surgery. But they did give me something, and it's kind of killing the pain for now.
Yes. Okay. Brenda, this has nothing to do with Homeland Security. I saw you mentioning that over there a while ago. Homeland Security is just one of the people who use these products. There is tons of government officials out there, tons of all types of people out there and companies that use this product. Everybody's not wrong. You think you're a godsend to everything, and you're going to have to quit, or I will take you off, I promise you, because you do not know what you're talking about. I'm dealing with highly classified people and highly classified stuff, and you can quit hitting me on the leg. I can't stand people being an ass on my program when they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, well, just have Miss Lippy to take them down.
You know.
Oh. Can you give your testimony on how you guys came to know Christ and how your faith got as strong as it is?
Did we do our testimony?
I don't know, but
I don't know if we have.
Well, I'll just start. I guess when I was a teenager, my parents, we were in church all the time. We were Baptist. I thought I was a good little girl, didn't do the things that all these other girls, these bad girls did. And so I didn't understand why I wasn't saved. I just thought that was something God did, when you got to a certain age, that was another step in growing up. And I really didn't understand it. And I was 13 years old. And from the time I was 13 till I was 23, I really couldn't understand this process, why God did not save me. I didn't understand it. And when I was 23, I was in church one night, and the guy explained faith. And he talked about faith and how faith was different than believing. I'd never heard anybody talk about the difference between faith and believing. And he talked about how the angels and the devil and the devil's angels all believed in God. They all knew about him. They believed, but they did not have faith. And he explained all that, and it just made sense. And so I turned my life over to Christ that night. It made a huge difference in my life. And anytime anything come up, I just kind of, I don't know, I have this thing about just turning it over to God. And Danny says, sometimes I have a little bit of too much blind faith, and I just kind of,
Yeah.
he's reeling me in sometimes because I'm up at the cliff fixing to jump off, and he's going, I don't know that God's going to hold you on that cliff there, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes that's just me. I jump before I think sometimes, and I just think God's there. He's helping me through it, and so far He has. You know, He's been there for me throughout my whole life.
It was on our podcast is where we did this at.
I don't know that we ever talked about our faith, did we?
I think so, yeah.
We might have. I don't remember.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, and with me personally, I was Patreon. That's what I've told mine on Patreon.
I don't think I ever have.
You never have, but on Patreon I've told a lot about
and I skipped a whole bunch of pieces in there, but
yeah,
you know, eventually
that's what it was.
I'll tell
because I knew I had told mine, and it was on Patreon. But anyway, mine, you know, I dealt with a lot of issues growing up, and I thought I was saved at a young age, around 12 years old. And it was one of those repeat after me kind of prayers and stuff like that. And then when I got to be in my mid-20s, I come to the realization that I did not know the Lord as my personal Savior. And it just one of them kind of things that my mom wanted me to come to church and this particular revival because my uncle was preaching. He was a missionary, and she wanted to hear him again. And I went, and there was actually several preachers that night preaching there. And I just, you know, I was like sitting there, I was like, well, whatever, you know. And one of them, I was having a lot of physical issues that time. I'd been in and out of doctors for quite some time. And they told me that there was something wrong with me, that I could possibly die. They just couldn't figure out what it was. Because I was in intense pain all the time. And it was just, my life was just falling apart medically, physically, and everything. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And sitting in that revival, the pastor was just preaching away, or not the pastor, but the evangelist was preaching away, and he just stopped, and he walked down the aisle, and he looked right at me, and he said, I don't know who you are, but you're not going to die. And he turned around and walked back up behind the pulpit, and he went back to preaching. And I was dumbfounded. I mean, I was sitting there, I'm like, how did he know anything about me, you know? And then, so that kind of sparked me a little bit, and I said, well, I'm going to go back to another night of the revival. And I went back, and the Lord was tugging on my heart so bad, because I thought I was saved at a younger age, and He just led me to believe that I wasn't. And this is what will get you in trouble right here. This evangelist took me to the back there, and he said, look, he said, what I need you to do, he said, I'm going to pray for you, and then I need you to repeat after me. And he started praying, and I just stopped him in the middle of his prayer. And I said, sir, you're going to have to quit that. He looked at me, he said, what are you talking about? I told him, I said, that's what got me in this position to start with. I said, I said a prayer that a preacher quoted. I said, I'm going to pray my own prayer. And I asked the Lord to come into my heart and save me. And he got up and walked out, and I got up and walked out. And that night, he told the pastor of the church, he said he didn't get saved back there. He said he didn't get saved. But I know I did, because I asked myself. I didn't repeat a prayer after him. He was one of them repeat after me kind of preachers. And I almost fell prey to it again. A second time. But this time I got it right. And I was baptized afterwards, and I've been on fire for the Lord ever since.
And it doesn't mean we haven't had our ups and downs.
Oh, no.
And we've, you know, different churches, been in and out. And one thing, after Danny and I married, we learned right quick, because we started putting a religion aside, because both of us had been into such intense with churches that we put that aside, and we started thinking about the Bible and what the Bible says and what God laid on our hearts.
Yes.
And it made a huge difference in what we felt. And we did go to churches, and we did try to start ministries or become part of their ministries and different things. And it just didn't fit us. It didn't. Before that, I was in a big part of my church, and I was in church all the time. I had all kinds of ministries going and doing things from. Mine was mainly kids ministries and music ministries. That was the two that I was always involved in.
Yeah.
And, but when Danny and I married, that didn't seem to fit anymore. I was too old to do the kid thing anymore.
Right.
And the churches we were in already had their music ministry. You know, the big church that when we married, and I didn't fit into that. It wasn't something that I felt comfortable with.
Right.
And actually, for a couple of 3 years, we just didn't. We questioned, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? And when Danny and I had met, while we were still talking, before we ever actually met face to face, we were talking on the phone. We'd never seen each other.
Yeah.
We just talked. I knew that at some point this man was going to be doing something for God. I just thought he was going to become a preacher again, and I knew I was going to be by his side. Don't ask me how. That was the impression I got the first 2 weeks talking to him. And the whole time after we married, I kept thinking, is God going to call him to preach? Or are we going to be going? Because in my mind, a preacher goes from church to church and he's preaching, or he has his own church or whatever. And never did he or I, either one, think that we would be sitting talking to a computer to lots of people. I mean, we get to talk to people from all over the world, all over the United States and all over the world, and it is amazing. I can't tell you how it feels to talk to somebody in Germany, and she's telling me she loves the Lord, and that she can't talk to people there because that's forbidden. This is amazing. People in Africa and Canada and the UK, Australia. There's people everywhere that love the Lord. It's not that these countries are bad or there's something wrong. It's not even the United States is bad. But there's people everywhere hurting just like we are. And it's just that these governments are the weird ones, right? Yeah. They're the ones that are after everybody.
Debbie, you're asking me, do I get angry very easy?
Not usually.
Not usually. I mean, I used to when I was younger, yes. I was very, very easy to get angry.
He's usually never gets.
But I hardly ever lose my temper or anything like that anymore. And I did run 3 companies, and I did have to be a boss, and I would tell you something in a split second. And I don't back down. That's one thing about me. I'm a go ahead straight talker, straight shooter from the hip. I'm your best friend, or I'm your worst enemy. You cross me, and I'll take you to the ground. That's just who I am. But if you're good and friends with me and you treat me with respect, I will give you the shirt off my back. But you cross me one time and I'll cut your throat. I mean, that's just the kind of person I am. And I'm not. That's not unchristian. That's not unbiblical or anything like that. God tells us, to use righteous judgment on different things. Even Christ himself, when he saw people in the temple changing money wrong and doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, he threw the table up in the air and run them out of the temple. I mean, there's a time for everything. And when someone comes on my channel and they disrespect me and they keep running their mouth about stuff they don't know about, I'll come loose on you. If that answers your problem, I don't mean to be angry, but I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Most people go where they feel the most comfortable, and that's the one they should run from.
True. If you're, I agree with that totally. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, y'all hit the thumbs up and keep commenting. That's the way I feel. Let's see. Don't say not to shed blood, but not to shed innocent blood.
Yes, pure one. That's right. He never. Let me explain something about Scripture. When Christ says to turn the other cheek, you have to look at the actual wording in that. He's not talking about turning your cheek to the world. He's talking about turning your cheek to a fellow brother or sister in Christ. In other words, don't stir up strife and mischief amongst brothers and sisters. If a brother or sister comes against you in Christ, then if they're out of order just a little bit, then turn your other cheek to a brother or a sister. But when it comes to the world, you're not God does not tell you to turn your other cheek to the world. As a matter of fact, He tells you to do just the opposite. And that's the way I do life. That's the way I treat life. I don't feel like I'm wrong.
I'm laughing at Billy. He said, "Don't start no SH and there won't be no SH."
That's true. That's true.
Oh, Billy got you back.
Yep. Oh.
What version of the Bible did you use when you were reading Matthew 25?
I was using, the reason I was using the Bible that I was using, I will say this, it's the only large print Bible I had, and it was late at night. My eyes were bothering me really, really bad, and it was called the New King James Version, because I told Wanda, I said, I need the Bible that's got the largest print in it. And that's the only one that had the real big print where I could see.
It's King James, but it takes the these and thous and stuff and changes it to modern you and I and stuff like that. And so it throws most people when they think it is not the King James Version. Actually, it is. It doesn't take away from the meaning. Thou means you.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's just putting it in English that you can understand. And then some people do say they took a word or two out here, and I don't know that because I didn't go through the whole thing word for word.
I read every verse, and I can tell if it's been messed with.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got like 20-something different Bibles here in my house, and I actually reference from all of them. Let's see here. Danny, do you think the destruction in Damascus is close? Are we there yet? Guys, Damascus is part of Syria. The Bible says that Damascus will be totally annihilated and that nothing but jackarals and wild beasts will actually inhabit that land. And I don't think we're quite there yet, even though over half of Damascus, to my knowledge right now, has been destroyed. We're not quite there yet. I think we have a little bit more further to go before we actually get that.
Somebody wants to know where they can find sweet potatoes to grow.
Only thing I can tell you, you can go to Shermway's. They sell potato slips on there, or if you can find organic potatoes, sweet potatoes, they'll work just as good. It's just if you buy them out of the store, they probably have sprout nip sprayed on them, and they probably won't sprout for a long time.
I'm just reading. Where somebody else asked again, where can I grow sweet potatoes? But you just answered that. You can buy organic sweet potatoes and follow Danny's directions on planting. Yes, we have the sweet potato manual, and if you can just go to your grocery store where they sell organic sweet potatoes and try it. Some of the ones you just buy in the grocery store might work too.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
It depends on how old they are.
Yeah.
It all depends on how old they are.
Got a 300-gallon tote today. Been
taking on rainwater. Preps appreciate the inspiration.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm having trouble.
It's moving so fast.
By the time I read part of it, it just flips. B. Crouch says, just place my order, Deep South. Thank you. And we still have Bibles and hymnals in every pew. Yes. Usually. Most churches.
Yeah.
If you were going to stock 3 things, what would it be?
If I was going to stock... Water would be number 1. I probably would do some freeze-dried foods because it's lightweight, it's nutritious, and it just hydrates with water. It's ready to eat. And I don't know about a third thing. Salt. You've got to have salt to survive. Well, you got to have sugar to survive too. I mean, you can't just do 3 things. I mean, it's kind of tough.
I know if I was going to be starting out, if you say you've never really bought a whole lot of stuff and prepped, I would go to right now, because it's getting late in the game, I would go to the grocery store and I would hunt canned goods that has some nutritional value, like something that has meat in it and stuff. I would do something that would give you, what is it, protein?
Yeah, you need a lot of protein.
you need to check on for proteins. Junk foods would be out the window. Any kind of fruits that were dehydrated or freeze-dried or anything like that on the shelves that would last longer. Anything that you see that will last longer. You don't want to go in and buy a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables that are fresh, because those aren't going to last you but a couple of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You want something that's going to last long-term or longer term, at least for a couple of 3 months or 6 months or whatever.
Well, see, I'll be like a squirrel. I'll be hiding my pecans. And I want to say thank you to Dee for sending me more pecans. I am so thankful for Dee for doing that, and I just want to just tell you my thanks. I mean, for that.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. Just give me a minute. I'm getting to Amanda, and I think we're going to get to meet Amanda before too much longer. But she put a smile on Danny's face. Actually, she put a freeze on Danny's face.
Yeah,
he's like, here. He's like, how did she know?
I kept,
you know.
Yeah.
Amanda sent us some stuff this week.
Yeah.
And,
hang on, just let me get this out of the way right here.
This is mine. This is Coffee and Chocolate Farmstead Roastery in Macon, Mississippi. It is rich, creamy milk chocolate with a hint of caramel and cinnamon. Right here. So this is a little chocolate bar that she sent. And then this is what brought Danny, when he looked at it, he says,
I'm like, when Ms. Wanda opened the box and I actually looked at it, this is what it had in it right here. This right here. And I was dumbfounded for a moment, because when I lived in central Mississippi, and before I lived in central Mississippi, anytime I would drive up to where I lived at up there, I went through Philadelphia, Mississippi, and there was a little old store on the right-hand side of Highway 15 called Williamsville. And I would always stop in at Williamsville, and I would always go in, and I would get white and yellow grits and cornmeal from Seipel's Mill just outside of Meridian up there in a place called Macon. And my wife at that time, before she passed away, we always said, now she had been there, I had never been there. She said, we're going to go over there and I'm going to let you see this place. You'll be just amazed. And I was always looking forward to going to Seipel's Mill. And of course she got sick and passed away, and I never did actually get the opportunity to. But that just blew my mind.
When we opened that box and this was in there, he was reading, he didn't see Seipel's to start with. He was reading grits, and then he saw the word Seipel watermill. He said, wait, how'd she know? And I said, no, what? And he said, Seipel's. He said, I used to buy this. And I said, Danny, she didn't know. I said, she lives in the vicinity. And he said, I was just wondering how she knew
that I love Seipel stuff.
Because he had never mentioned the word Seipel.
No.
I'd never heard that word before.
I'd never mentioned it anywhere. And then this is another thing that that she had sent right here.
Now, I've done opened this and cooked some. We've been eating jasmine rice.
We've been eating on the jasmine rice, yeah. And I just want to say thank you so much for that. It was really thoughtful.
And she and her husband want to come visit. And so sometime, Amanda, in the future, we hope to get to meet her.
Oh, let's see. I've seen several questions go by. Somebody was asking about, Miracle Grow. Is it all right to use it if you don't have access to any fertilizer? And the answer is yes, periodically. If you use Miracle Grow on a regular basis, it's kind of like crack cocaine to a plant. It gets used to it because it's just pure nitrogen. And then when you don't have nitrogen there for it, the plant will actually shrivel down, because what happens is it doesn't put out a good root system looking for its food, because the food is always right there at its roots. And that's the downfall to using too much Miracle Grow or too much any fertilizer, to be honest with you. Right there at the roots, it's just only one part of the fertilizer. You need all three components in a fertilizer in order for it to be well balanced for the plant. Please do more Porch Time Bible teaching. It really lifted me. I actually have another one coming up in Psalms this time. I'm just waiting to get the opportunity to stay awake long enough at night
to actually asleep
I was actually asleep a few minutes ago.
He was listening to this broadcast he was listening to, and the guy was getting to the point that it was very serious, and I was wanting to hear what he said, and I looked at Danny's like...
My head was just flowing. She said,
and I said, hey.
She's like, hey, and I jumped up.
And he said, what? I said, listen, he's talking about something serious. And he's going, oh, I was listening. I'm like, no, you were sleeping. He wasn't listening.
Oh, Danny, who takes care of your beard?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Can't you tell?
No, nobody takes care of my beard.
He does his own. He's been doing his own beard and hair and everything.
I have cut my own hair. I have cut my own
since
beard.
We've been married.
For the last... Well, I did it for before you and me got
married. I know, but I mean, we've been married 9 years.
Since Debbie passed away.
Yeah.
My wife that passed away used to cut my hair, trim my beard. She did all that. And when she passed away, I started doing it myself. This has been, what, 10 years now?
She's been gone since 2011.
She was gone in 2011, so it's been about 10, 11 years.
11 years.
11 years I've been cutting my own hair and doing my own beard. So I don't
and we married in 2013, and Wanda don't do that kind of stuff. I am not very good at... He looks at me like, I don't think I want you touching my beard.
I don't know if I want you to cut on my beard or not.
He's pretty sure that I would have it whacked because I can't straighten things up, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know that you could get things right.
They said it looks lined up real well. I do occasionally trim it out, you know, where if it gets like a little too far over one way or too far this way, I will try to trim it out.
There's one right here that just bugs me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It may be it may be this side. It is. It's right there. You gotta trim that one.
I like Country Living Homestead said, Danny, sometimes that's the best way to watch the news is asleep. I agree totally. I agree. It's just that I've been working on a new barn over there, putting in cattle corral systems and, you know, all the kind of stuff over there. And I just get tired now. I'm not young like I used to be. And when I sit down, I go out. You know.
We do hope to have a YouTube video on the barn within a week and a half?
Probably a week.
It might be closer to a week because time he finishes what he's doing and I get it edited and everything. I just haven't been doing any YouTube videos for the barn. People on Patreon get to see pictures. I send pictures over there of what he's doing right now. But we'll do an update video maybe in a week because he wants to get through with what he's doing and he's working on the cow part. And we want to give the cows their new home in order to have the video complete. And I just don't want to throw up a little pieces. You know, I want to wait till we're through with it.
How is my knee? My knee it's not as bad as it was. It's a little bit better, but I still can't bend it all the way because if I do, it goes into intense pain. But you know what? I'm living with it. I'm learning to live with it.
I did go to high school in Columbia, yes. If
you do decide to shave your beard, we should do a contest to shave Danny. Oh, I don't know about that.
I did orange juice. We did our own oranges and orange juice. When our tree produces a lot, we squeeze it.
We freeze ours.
Freeze it. I don't can it.
Anytime you can something, it loses a lot of its nutritional value. Plus, it gets bitter.
It turns bitter. So we always freeze ours, and when we take it out, it's like fresh. Have you tried canning bananas? I tried a recipe and messed it up. Going to try again. I put bananas in the freeze dryer, and oh my goodness, they were amazing, weren't they?
They were really, really good.
It's like eating a fresh banana, only it's not soft.
Okay, Amanda says, what fertilizer is good for green beans and lima beans? Any of them is good as long as the nitrogen part of it, the first number has got to be really low. The second two numbers can be alternate. They can be 10-10 or 20-20 or 24-24 or 5-5, whatever. Just as long as the first number is very low because these beans make nitrogen in the soil. If you put too much nitrogen, then what happens is you end up with all plants and no beans.
Can you use bone and blood meal with fish emulsion together on mature fruit trees?
Yes, you can use it on them. Now understand, when you use bone meal and blood meal, it's not even going to work for the first month. And I saw one a while ago about crushed eggshells. Eggshells are okay, but you have to understand that they got to be in the soil about a year before they actually do any good for a plant, because it takes a long time for them to break down into the molecular structure for a plant to be able to absorb it.
What can we do with spare pears? I made pear sauce, pear relish, canned pears, I did pears and honey. What else have I done with pears? Pear salad, carrot and pears. I put the pears in Danny's carrot salad.
Julie said, "What name do I put on a check?" Put Wanda. Just put Wanda. All my money goes to her. I don't. She gets everything. I get nothing. And I don't want nothing.
Says he who is building a barn right now.
Well, I mean, this is the bottom line. I've been wealthy before, and I don't need money. Wanda, I let everything goes to Wanda.
He don't need money, but he goes, okay, I'm building a barn. The money has to come from somewhere.
Well, it can come from you. I don't want it to come from me. I mean,
I'm your sugar daddy.
Yeah, Miss Wanda's my sugar daddy.
Yeah, that's not as bad as it sounds.
That's why I chose Miss Wanda. She's a nice sugar daddy.
Okay, I gotta have some water on that one. I'm gonna get.
And Grizz is right. Expired milk is good for the garden. And the reason I say that is, here a few years ago when they told all the dairy farmers to dump all their milk into the pastures because they was trying to subsidize the price of it and run the price way up. Where the farmers dumped their milk in the fields, they realized the grass took off and grew 3 times as fast as it normally did. So they learned that using raw milk on the grass in the fields was actually really good for the fields.
Oh, somebody asked something about my hair. I did get a haircut, but it's been about a month ago, maybe.
Yeah, probably about a month.
About a month ago, and during COVID and before COVID, Danny cut my hair twice. I actually have it on video 2 different times of Danny cutting my hair because he can see straight. He knows when something's straight.
Yeah.
And I trust him to cut it because but now he did call it a horse's tail.
I did call it a horse's tail. And I would lift it up and I go, you know what's under every horse's tail?
And he cut it like that. He held the whole ponytail and just whacked. And I said, no, you don't do that. And he knew that, but then the second time I made him do it like a barber would do it. And line it up and cut it. And he did. He done a good job both times, but still. Somebody's asked him Merle Haggard or George Jones.
I don't know what Merle Haggard or George Jones is. I've seen it go by 3 or 4 times. I have no clue what they're even asking. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're asking. I'm sure it's not anything bad, but I mean, I just don't know what they want.
Somebody said I need a Homestead sugar daddy too.
Mary Beth says, Danny wanted to hook me up with a sugar daddy, homesteading man.
No, I don't know.
Actually, the problem is I don't know any of them, Mary Beth. We don't know anybody that actually, the people we know that are really true and honest and hard workers are all married and have good husbands and wives.
Yeah. And they said they think it's a sugar mama. Well, in this day and time, you can be a daddy or a mama.
You can be a daddy or a mama this time.
People don't care.
Yeah.
But
Lippy, Mary Beth was not doing anything wrong, Lippy. She was just making fun. I mean, she we know her. She's cool.
Yeah. Old country singers, the hack. I don't know if they were asking which one you like. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I have distant family that played in Merle Haggard's band. One was a drummer and one was a guitar player. So I mean,
is it time to prune fruit trees or do you wait?
Which do I like best, Merle Haggard or George? I seen that Amy took them out before I got a chance to read it. I actually liked Merle Haggard the best.
Okay,
y'all don't have to take these people out, please.
We'll tell you. Some of them are okay.
They're all okay. I actually like George Jones. Has a couple of songs I liked, and I liked Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard had some really good songs.
I was more. I like both of them. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Thank you. 242 Mama.
242 Mama. Thank you. We definitely appreciate that.
They said, nope, you're a woman. I really am a woman. I mean, I'm going to just tell y'all I am.
She's a woman, I promise you.
I'm a girly girl sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes she's too much of a woman.
Sometimes he says, can you come up here and help me? And I'm like, no.
No, she says, I know.
No. And then sometimes I can make my way up to lofts and sit there for 2 seconds and not. Yeah. I did a video without freaking out, y'all.
Do I sing in the garden, Darlene said? I sing a lot of different places, not just only in the garden.
He sang on a podcast Monday.
Two podcasts ago, I sang on a podcast. Me and Wanda was shooting a podcast. I did a little singing on it. Now, not a lot, but I did something.
A line here and there. Y'all, if y'all go listen to our podcast every now and then.
Yeah.
We just sit down and just have fun.
We have fun.
Last night when we did the podcast, it was just that the world's going crazy. And we thought we just need to sit down and do something fun and just talk. And it was fun. It got kind of serious toward the end.
Yeah.
But we brought everything together, the fun and the serious. And we just kind of have fun with the podcast. I didn't think I'd like it, but sometimes it's fun. Sometimes he does them by himself.
Yeah, sometimes I do them by myself.
Can you plant fruit trees anytime as long as the ground is workable?
Josh, you can only plant potted fruit trees that grew in the pots. Now, if they've been up-potted, no. If they're bare root, no. You have to plant them while they're dormant. But if one is planted in a pot and it's raised in a pot, then you can plant it any time of the year, as long as you keep it watered.
Grizz says, I'm a homesteading man. Does it matter if I'm married? Yeah, okay, Grizz.
Yeah, it matters, Grizz. It matters. Yeah.
Y'all gonna have to rephrase how y'all word stuff now. You can't just have any homesteading man. You gotta have a single homesteading man, and you want one that's good. Mountain Creek Homestead said they're single for 8 years now. Don't know if it's a man or a woman because it doesn't say. Could be either. But we've got a lot of women that are single that are homesteading. We get a lot of messages all the time asking Danny about things that they don't have anybody else to ask, you know.
Yeah.
And
Danny, could you tell me the difference between maple syrup and cane syrup? We are in syrup season soon here in New York. Just curious. Well, maple syrup comes from a tree and cane syrup comes from a stalk. Maple syrup takes about 2 or 3 times as much of it to cook out a gallon as it does cane syrup. Cane syrup's a lot richer than maple syrup. Although I love the taste of both of them, but when you go to the store and buy maple syrup, you're only getting about 5% maple syrup. So home-raised maple syrup is pure maple syrup. So if you get the home-raised type, you get a lot better deal, you know.
All right, somebody was asking about the podcast. Yes, the podcasts are free. Most everybody has a podcast platform they like to go through, like Spotify and iTunes. But if you don't want to download an app, in all our descriptions, I have a link to our website, deepsouthhomestead.com. And if you'll scan down, it has the podcast. You just click on it. Or it also has the Libsyn site. And Libsyn is the platform we use.
Yeah.
And you can just click on it and it'll take you straight to it. You do not have to download anything that way.
Oh, Mr. Ray Ferguson, our bacon turned out amazing.
Yes, we eating it every morning.
Oh my gosh, this stuff is just, it is the best I have ever done. I mean, and I will pat myself on the back for that one because it is some kind of good. It's not too salty, it's not too sweet, it is perfect.
Grizz has got somebody said they'd marry him. Oh, poor Grizz.
Oh, Lord, Grizz. You might have jumped into that one too early, my friend.
I don't know about his wife. She may be having a say-so in that
She
one.
might, yeah.
She might just tell Grizz he's got to stop that.
There's Drew Miller, a single woman here working full-time and farming. Can you say exhausted? I totally agree with you. I agree with you.
Have you ever grown tree collards? We did one time.
We tried one time, and they growed up and they died.
Yeah, they didn't do real well.
They didn't do good in the heat for some reason.
Or we didn't know what we was doing.
Yeah, it could have been that.
Homestead dating service. Yeah, we ain't good at that.
No, I'm not good at matchmaking. I ain't even good at my own matchmaking. That's why when I met Wanda, I said, Lord, you got to bring the woman. I ain't going to go do this no more.
Yep.
Riverside Acres says, I feel like I'm in a dating channel. Oh, how did that music used to go? I'm trying to figure out how the music went.
Oh, the date.
Yeah, the dating game. Yeah, remember that when it used to come on? Yeah.
Would you consider uploading the podcast to YouTube? No.
No.
It's
we not worth
video it.
We don't video it's what it is. And
we just do the voice because it's so much easier for me to we do the voice. 10 minutes later, I can have it done and up on the podcast. Where if we do a video and we have to put it up and all that, it takes me a while to go through the process. Plus rendering and everything takes so much longer. It's not worth it. We do videos for YouTube. Podcast is just totally different. It's just simply us sitting and talking.
Darlene, I can't tell you what I know on YouTube. If I do, they'll pull my channel down.
A lot of people are going to different platforms.
A lot of people
not different platforms, but they're finding other ways.
They're finding other ways around it. I can't do it on YouTube. YouTube would take us down in a heartbeat, and if they do, I'd lose my channel, and I would not have the ability to help anybody then. And so I won't do it. I mean, I'll talk in riddles, and you just have to figure out what I'm saying when I talk in a riddle.
Yeah, people are kind of, I don't know if they're...
Country Living Homestead says, how do you extract the sap from sugar cane? We've got a ton of videos showing you how to do that. From the beginning to the end, from planting it to cooking it, you know. What?
Hey, Bama Gardner says you just made that dating game song go through her hands. She's got it stuck.
Danny, do you mix your own seasoning for sausage? Yes, pretty much so. We do use Old Plantation, number 10, I believe, isn't it?
And sometimes we add a little bit of extra sage and stuff to it, but we basically use that Legs Old Plantation.
Old Plantation seasoning.
But we do add a little sage.
Danny, is it a good idea to feed ground up eggshells back to your chickens? As long as they've been baked. Do not give them to them if they've not been baked, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting your chickens where they'll start eating eggs. Prayers needed. Korea shooting missile now. Question asker. That actually happened a while ago. I was told when it actually happened. The missile actually launched, and he allowed it to come down into a large body of water. It was
unless something's happened.
Something's happened since we've been online.
Yeah.
You know, but before we was online, he launched one, and he brought it down in a large body of water. It was a test of an ICBM to see if it would carry the weight of a nuclear warhead.
Do you keep the can as a syrup, or do you boil it down to sugar?
We just leave it as a syrup.
Yeah,
if you don't put, if you overcook it and you don't put any lemon juice in it, it'll turn to sugar anyway, and then you can just have brown sugar.
Folks, be careful with keywords. Yes, thank you. Yes,
please be careful with keywords, because they'll shut us down just because of what you asked.
Is black cow good for green beans?
It is 555. Black cow, it should be fine for green beans. I mean, 5% nitrogen is almost nothing. So, yeah, it should be okay. And the thing about nitrogen-fixing plants is they need nitrogen to get up out of the ground. It's just that once they get about 6 or 8 inches tall, they don't need any more nitrogen because they draw it from the air. So you don't need to put any after that.
Kathy asked, where can I get your podcast? You can look in every video has a link, and it will say podcast. You can go to iTunes or Spotify or any of those.
There's about 20 different platforms
out there. Or you can
go
to deepsouthhomestead.com. It's there. And Libsyn. All of it is in our descriptions. Just look in the descriptions for podcast.
Adam says, what is your advice for starting a new garden to prepare the soil? Take a soil set. Go get you a soil sample test kit from the extension service in your local town. Do a soil sample and find out what your soil needs. First of all, don't do anything until you know what your soil needs.
And then add that appropriately and mix it in.
Yeah, just turn it in, and then you can start
Somebody
growing.
Was asking how they could get a sugarcane start. It's about the wrong time of the year.
It's the wrong time of the year to do it now. Sugarcane comes out in the fall, and you can. Sometimes we sell it in the fall. Sometimes we don't. It just depends.
All right. Michael said his soil sample showed all high NPK. Can I reduce this? The pH is 7.4.
Yes, you can put. If your pH is too high, you can put sulfur in the ground to make it more acidic. You must live where there's a lot of limestone in the soils, what it sounds like.
Is ironite good for citrus trees?
I don't actually know that. I don't know if ironite is any good for anything. I mean, actually, ironite could be toxic.
Do you have to test water in a new pond before putting fish in it?
Yes, it's best if you can. Take a clean quart jar and take your pond water with you to a fish hatchery, and they can test that water there for you and tell you what you need to do to raise the pH or lower the pH, because if the pH is not right in the pond and you put baby fish in it, it will kill them.
Do we have a wish list in the description? We used to, and it might still be there, but I don't think there's anything on it. Danny and I just can't keep up with the wish list. If he wants something, I just order it. You know, it's hard for me to keep things updated on a wish list.
Jill, the last name to put on the check would be King. It'd be King. You can put Wanda King.
If we created a new YouTube channel, YouTube just monitors everything, whether you monetize or not. We do have my channel, Crazy Days. We have Deep South. I have a Wanda King, and we have one for Patreon. So we have like 4 channels now anyways, but we don't put content on them all. So
Dennis, I put the EMP shield on my main panel because my main panel protects the whole house. Any sub panel should be behind the main panel, and as long as it's not over 250 feet from the main panel, you should be protected with just one on the main panel.
Somebody wanted to know about putting a pear and an apple tree next to each other, and would they pollinate each other?
No, not a pear and an apple. No. Danny, if you disconnect your vehicle battery, will it stop EMP damage? No.
Have you used the salt lick buckets for planters, and how the salt, I guess, in the lick buckets?
Well, I use protein, my cattle protein buckets, which is, they're about 20 or 25 gallon buckets. That's what I use for mine.
But the salt might have too much salt content. Maybe
if you wash them and clean them out, they should be fine.
Okay.
I mean, you should be able to do that.
Wanda Weber said, I messed up and ordered ammonium sulfate. What do I use this for? Ammonium
sulfate is the only thing you can buy now if you order. You cannot buy ammonium nitrate anymore because of drug addicts. Drug addicts use ammonium nitrate to make drugs with, and plus ammonium nitrate's what the Oklahoma bomber used to blow up the building, and they do not sell that anymore unless you're a licensed person to purchase it. Now you can buy calcium nitrate, you can buy all other kinds of nitrate, but you cannot buy ammonium nitrate. The last time I bought some, I had to have permits and all that kind of stuff just to be able to get it. Is not sulfur bad for onions? Sulfur, if you put too much sulfur, it'll lower the pH too much, and it's not good. Now, sulfur is good for potatoes. It's just not good for too much of any other thing.
Do you still like your Borg RV solar panels?
Yes. Yes, our solar panels are fine.
Yeah, we were thinking about getting another one or two. We just hadn't. We've been on the barn, but we are moving some solar panels to the barn, so we've got to have a couple more.
Is there any plants that you should not use fish emulsion on? Not that I'm aware of. Fish emulsion is perfectly safe for most everything I've ever found out about.
Yeah, they said there's 1,200 watching and 500 likes. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Hit the like button, because it throws this thing into an algorithm where YouTube will actually promote it, and y'all don't have to. Is a fertilizer shortage only on synthetic fertilizers? Most generally, yes, it's mostly on synthetic fertilizers, but what's going to happen is the organic fertilizer companies is going to realize that they have the market cornered and the price is going to go through the roof.
What is the best food for onions?
The best food for onions I found. Onions use as much nitrogen as corn does. What I usually do is I use a lot of nitrogen every 2 weeks on my onions until they start making a bulb. And when they start making a bulb, then I use calcium nitrate on them at that point. Should the double pole 20-amp breaker for the EMP device be right? I didn't get to catch all of it.
It's going so fast.
Okay.
Whoa, right here. Should the double
pole 20-amp? You do not use a double pole 20-amp breaker. It has to be 2 single pole 20-amp breakers. It cannot be a double pole one. They have to be single pole, and it can be anywhere in the box. It does not have to be right under the breaker.
Let's see, where are we at?
Okay, hold on. There's another
one. Where
do
you put drainage holes in those buckets?
I drill mine 4 inches up from the bottom. Leave it sitting right there.
Okay.
My old mobile home has aluminum on the roof and walls. I was told that the aluminum box would be a good EMP shield. Does that mean my mobile home should be No. There's too many breaks in that shield in order for it to be right. The only way that a boxed-in shield works is if there's actually no spaces in it where anything can go through it and get around it or anything. It has to be completely sealed. And that is, to my knowledge, that is not true.
Okay.
Okay.
The organic fertilizers are already expensive.
Yes, they are.
That is why Danny and I have been actively getting everything around here. We put 2 ponds in so that we would have the pond water and the fish junk in it. But we also did get the worm beds, and we got worms started. And we've checked into the Jadam. We're steadily reading on that book so we know what we can do with our what is it called in the woods, the dirt.
I'm just as blank. I'm sitting here. I'm keeping up with comments
here. For the Jadam to go mix in with stuff. Leaf mold.
Leaf mold.
That's what it is. Thank you, Wilding.
Thank you.
Any suggestions for warm weather cover crop that will aggressively help with root nematodes?
I planted the mustard. It got too hot, not thriving. I don't know of anything in the warm weather. The only thing in warm season is you have to cover it, like I have a video on covering it with black plastic and leaving it out there in the intense heat. And that will do good, pretty good. And the only other thing is to disc it about every week. You just constantly disc it in the heat of the summer and keep turning them to the surface. And that should help. Danny, how do you feel about the Generac for a whole house generator? I think it's a great idea, especially if you get the transfer switch and all to go with it. They're pretty good. Somebody asked about the price of a EMP shield for your house. They run about $350, but if you use our link, I think they take $50 off of it, so it's only around $300.
What is going on with your worms? We have 2 worm beds going. We're going to be moving them to the barn. I have where I can use some of it in the greenhouses, and when we start to move it, we're going to be revamping and starting. We still have worms in both, but we're going to be revamping it, clearing out some, and kind of not starting over, but starting fresh, I guess you would say. We're not getting rid of what we got. We're just going to clean out the ones that need cleaning out and move it.
How does an EMP on your home help if there is no electricity coming to your home? If you have no electricity coming to your home, the only thing you got to worry about is just anything inside your house that's not plugged up, that has circuits and diodes and all that kind of stuff in it. It'll still burn them up inside the house. You're just basically protecting your home, because the third phase of an EMP is a lot like a CME or the Carrington event. You can look it up online. Where the wires continually heat up and get hotter and hotter and hotter, and eventually they'll set themselves on fire. And lots of times you can have a house fire based on that.
So where do we get our worms from? The first ones we ordered online from
What was that? Uncle Jim's?
Uncle Jim's Worm
Uncle Jim's
Farm
Worm
or something.
Farm. Green Greg's also sells them.
Yeah, Green Greg sells them. He's on YouTube. And then the second batch, the second one he started, he wanted fishing worms.
Yeah.
So we just went to the bait shop. And it worked really well.
Yeah, Cindy said I couldn't find the link under the video for the EMP shield. It may not be under this one.
It is in the last EMP. It's not in all our videos yet because it's only in the one that Danny did with Andrew, and then the one where he's been hooking up the EMP shields. I don't know how many of the videos yet it's in. It'll probably be a permanent part of our description now. I just got to have time to get it in there.
Nadia, I just installed an EMP protector on my generator. It doesn't matter. It will get an EMP will destroy solar. It will destroy the new generators. Now, if you got an old hand crank pull generator, they're probably okay. You probably don't have to have anything to worry about them. But your new electronic ones, they will get burnt up.
How can you get rid of sticker vines for good?
I don't know what they're calling a sticker vine, unless they're. I don't know what a sticker vine. I mean, you talking about briars? I mean,
I guess.
I don't know.
Any little piece of the root that's in the ground still comes back up. Just saying. What are y'all using the worms for?
We get the worm castings off of it. And then we fish with some of them, and then some of them we just use for worm castings. Now the worms from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm is strictly for worm castings and worm teeth. The
red wigglers.
The big red wigglers is the ones we raise for fishing.
And they do really well. My grandkids was here yesterday, which we didn't use the red wigglers yesterday.
No.
We used, what are them called? From the hay.
Grub worms.
Grub worms yesterday. And them kids had a blast. They caught about 10 brim yesterday with grub worms.
B. Crouch, I am in with Marfugel News and several other people's. We're going to be, the company's going to be giving away 3 EMP shields. And they do this every quarter because they want to help people out. And you have to be a subscriber of the channel and everything.
Well, you go in that link that... and you go through and it asks you questions, I believe, and you have to follow whatever they asked. And if being subscribed is part of the giveaway.
Yeah.
And then they tell you can come back as often as you want, and you can enter in several times, which gives you more chance to win. And I think it's still going on through this weekend. So anybody goes to our link where Danny and Andrew were talking, you click on and you follow their directions to be entered in, and you can go in as many times as you want to.
So can I put an EMP shield on my Generac and we should be fine? Yes. Your Generac will be fine. And if a Generac's hooked to the house, there's a disconnect switch between the Generac and your house if it's set up like most of them are. And when the power goes off, it clicks and makes power go to your house. So technically you would have to have one for the house and one for the generator. That's how it works. That's how I have mine set up. What's the best way to grow cucumbers? On trellises, Cindy. That's the best way we found. They work better to grow on trellises because that way they're up out of the dirt. The powdery mildew don't affect them as bad, and they just do really good.
Somebody said they would love to hear that we had talked before we met, and they would like to hear our story. We have many videos. Type in Danny and Wanda's story. I don't know. We've got I don't know how many times.
Well,
we've told the story 2 or 3 times, and
we're also on Empty Hammock has a grounded series video on us.
Yeah. So it all if you type in Danny and Wanda or Danny and Wanda Deep South Homestead, their story, something like that. I don't know. You should get several videos pop up.
Gerhard, the EMP for an automobile. I mean, we bought so many of them at one time. I don't know. I think they were, with our discount code, we ended up paying, I think, $300 a piece for them or something like that.
I don't remember. There's different prices for different ones.
Yeah, and I think it was around $300, which is like a month's worth of insurance is basically what it is. Yeah.
Mark said pray for him. He has a bad headache.
We will, Mark. We done been on here. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, corn, wheat, and barley is about to go up. Jody, that's exactly right. The Ukraine provides a huge part of the world's grain, and they've got all the ships stopped right now. As a matter of fact, I got word that a couple of the grain ships had already been shelled and hit with missiles. It didn't sink them, but it didn't kill anybody on them, but it really has slowed down the progression of getting the grains out through from over there.
Okay, so we kind of didn't really talk about spring, but oh well.
Well, we talked about what the people wanted to
so y'all,
talk about.
When y'all see our thumbnail, it's never what we talk about on Saturday nights. What's Danny's favorite book in the Bible?
I don't know if I have a favorite book. Probably.
Proverb? No.
No, it would probably be Psalms. Psalms is one of my favorite books in the Bible. Psalms 91 is one of my favorite chapters in the Bible.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And the Psalm that I'm going to be teaching on this week, if I get a chance to shoot this video, is another one of my favorite ones. And I'm going to be teaching on that one. So hopefully we'll get that one in this week, and we'll have another Bible study up at some point.
All right, so we need to get off of here and get a few more things done before we go to bed. And but you guys, y'all start prepping up. If you hadn't already, get your things in order. Keep your eyes on what's going on everywhere, and get ready to plant.
You get ready to plant.
Be able to plant something.
If you live in zone 8 and lower, this weekend should be one of your last weekends of seriously cold weather. Now, maybe in the 40s, but I don't think it'll be back in the 30s.
Yeah. So we think you can probably start planting some things at least. You're planning on planting corn this week.
I'm planning, not this week, next week.
Next week, well, yeah.
I'm going to be planting corn next week. I think that...
the English peas are up about yay tall in the field and in my greenhouse.
Yep. And you picked a nice mess of English peas today.
Yeah, the ones that I already have. We had fresh English peas today. We're still eating fresh carrots that are coming out of my greenhouse. He planted some more carrots, and then...
Not sure how they're doing because there was an old bag of carrots.
Yeah,
and it's already been 6 or 7 days and they haven't come up. If they're not up by tomorrow... I'll replant them.
We have potatoes out here in this little garden that's up about what?
They're about 10 inches? About 8 inches, yeah.
Yeah, and then the ones over in the garden that we planted by the barn,
they're
popping.
They're about 2 inches.
The ones that are in my greenhouse are popping. So we've got potatoes coming up. Blooms everywhere, all over all the trees.
Our peach trees are blooming out. Our mulberry trees are getting leaves all over them. I mean, everything. The pear trees are starting to get ready to bloom. Blueberries are popping, blooms all over them. Huckleberries are blooming out. We are right at the threshold.
Yeah. So if you're in the area, zone 7 and 8?
Probably zone 8.
Can plant potatoes, English peas, carrots, corn in a couple of weeks.
Corn in about, not this week, but next week.
Now that's field corn.
That's field corn or sweet corn. Sweet corn do better than field corn, but.
Okay. But you're planting field corn.
I'm planting field corn. I think this year I'm gonna just get a jump because I've got word that we've got some wacky weather coming, and I'm gonna try to get ahead of it.
All right. So I'm just trying to read comments.
Okay.
So that's what I would do.
Jan wants us to pray for her husband's heart cath on Tuesday.
Got our popcorn order in last week and Purdue chicken a couple of days ago. I saw that Miss Josette she commented on Miss Lippy's channel yesterday, and she said she had gotten her popcorn that she'd ordered after we did the popcorn video from McCaskill Family Farms, and she said that was the absolute best popcorn she's ever eaten in her life. She said it's not like what you buy in town that's kind of chewy.
Yeah.
It's good popcorn, and Danny and I eat some almost every night. It is amazing. Time has begun. Said pray for her daughter. She needs a miracle.
Kelly says, will the weather ever stabilize? No. I'm sorry to tell you that it's not going to stabilize from this point forward. No.
Now, some people may have it the same for long periods of time.
It's going to be a roller coaster. There's going to come a point you may have all seasons in one day.
We do sometimes.
and literally, and you're going to go from 4 seasons to 3 seasons, and then you're going to go down to 2 seasons. You're going to either have a winter or you're going to have summer.
What do you use for your nitrogen for corn and onions?
I used to use ammonium sulfate right now, or if you've got chickens. The thing about corn is you can put pure chicken fertilizer straight from the chicken pen on your corn as long as you don't put it right against the roots.
How can you preserve fresh eggs longer? All right, there is many videos on putting them in lime water, and I talked to somebody this week that said they use lime water and they have like 8 or 9 dozen eggs in lime water, and they've been there for 6 to 8 months, and they still, when they take them out, they're as fresh as they were the day they put them in. That's an old way to do it. We have been freeze drying some, and I know not everybody has a freeze dryer, but we did freeze dry some. I have scrambled them and put them in bags, not cooked them, just mixed them up, 2 eggs at a time, put them in a little sandwich bag and froze them, and then put the sandwich bags over in a freezer bag and labeled them 2 eggs. And every time you take it out, like if a cake mix calls for 2 eggs, you have 2. I've done some with 3 in case something calls for 3 eggs, so you can freeze them.
Elizabeth, we will continue praying for you. Have your magnesium levels checked if there's any way you can, because a lack of magnesium in your system will cause anxiety and depression a lot worse than anything else. And lots of times we blame a lot of stuff on the devil when we just have a deficiency in our body. So if you have a way to have your magnesium level checked, you might want to do that.
The ones that are maybe called to action too, because there's a lot of people going to be deployed in the next few days.
I agree with that totally. Yes.
It has to be hydrated lime. Yes, I'm thank you.
Yes.
For the eggs, hydrated lime.
Yes. I think some of my seed potatoes froze. Are they still okay? No, if your seed potatoes froze outside the ground, no, they're not any good. But now if the plants froze off, it's possible they may come back out.
Okay.
Okay, we got to pray where we can get. There's lots of people here who probably need to get off of here. They're probably like us. They can sit here all night and get you at.
Yeah, I see Miss Sylvia got her Miss Caskell popcorn and basmati rice.
Yeah.
It is the best rice I've ever eaten. I think so.
Okay. Father, we thank you tonight for the good live stream that we've had here. Father, it's been a blessing, and I pray that tonight we've been able to answer a lot of questions for a lot of people, and Father, help people get lined up and get ready for the unseen things that lies ahead of us now. And we have a path that we have to walk through. The next 48 hours are going to be a little bit treacherous, Father, and we got to see what happens in the next 48 hours, and that could determine the direction of our future. It could determine a lot about us, and we just pray that you'll be kind to us and you'll be merciful to us, Lord, over here in the Western Hemisphere. And Father, we do pray for all those that are possibly might have to be deployed. I ask for their protection, and I just pray for this situation going on across the water over there. I've got word that there's some people talking to Putin right now and trying to work out some agreements with him, but Father, if I understand my Bible correctly, there's not really anything that's going to stop this man, because he's on a mission, and it's a biblical mission, and I don't think he even realizes that it is. And we know what his end goal is, and Father, we pray that as it happens, you'll give us the grace and the ability to just handle whatever comes our way now. And many people have come on here tonight, Lord. Some have had surgery. Some are going to have surgery. There are those that are dealing with anxiety and depression, and Lord, lots of physical issues, spiritual issues here tonight, mental issues. Father, even people I know in here personally that's got financial issues going on. I'm going to pray for each and every one of them tonight, Father. As we're in a time of uncertainty, it makes some of these things escalate in our lives. And I just pray for them, Father. And I even have friends that have had to make changes drastically in their lives because of not taking the stab. And Father, it's sad to see people's lives changed by so many different things. And we want to pray for each and every one of them tonight. And Lord, I just ask that you just be with our country as we face these, as the truckers head to the Capitol, Lord, and what's going on across the water. Gas prices are going to be soaring. Food prices are going to go outrageous. No fertilizer. People having trouble getting to places. It's going to be a big mess because a lot of our parts, believe it or not, we have parts for vehicles and stuff like that that come from the Soviet Union. Tractors and stuff like that we're not going to be able to get. And it's going to cripple this country in a lot of different ways. So we're praying that you can help us out in that way if you can, and just help us to make wise decisions about our direction for the future now. We just want to ask all these things in your name. Amen. What is Doohickey's channel?
I wrote it down right here.
Okay.
Tag.
Okay. I'm going to use that. Guys, we have a friend who just started a YouTube channel.
He don't know we're doing this.
He doesn't know we're doing this. So this is going to be a surprise to him, and only you who stay here to the end will know this. His name, we're going to call him Tag, because that's what he's going to call himself on the YouTube channel. He has one video out there, and it's his YouTube channel, and I want you to go over there and subscribe to his YouTube channel and tell him that Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead sent you there. His channel is called Life Done Free. And just let us know, and we'll put a link up if you can't find his YouTube channel. But it's called Life Done Free. And guys, go over there and show Tag some love and some appreciation. He's a really great guy. He has an off-grid homestead. It's working out really good. He's really intelligent in a lot of ways. So, just
give him some encouragement.
Give him some encouragement, because he's got one video out, and I'd love to see him get some subscribers. I think me and Wanda was his only subscribers when I looked.
No, he had like 5.
Oh, was it like 6. 5 or 6? Okay, I knew there wasn't many. So, check him out, and just show him some appreciation and some love. Trying to get his feet wet in this and trying to get started. And like I said,
they're saying they can't find it.
We'll probably.
Okay, Lippy's got it up.
Lippy's got it up right there.
She found it. Okay.
Y'all go to Miss Lippy's got the channel there. Y'all go check it out and tell him Deep South Homestead sent you. And I want to see what his response is, because he doesn't know we're doing this.
Yeah. All right. So Lippy put it here, and I'll try to put it I'll put it in a pinned comment at the beginning of the comments of this video. But Lippy's popping it up. Just click on the link she's popping up. Life Done Free.
Yeah, no spaces in it. Just Life Done Free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's also on Facebook. For those of you that do Facebook, look up Life Done Free. He's had a Facebook group for a while now. So you can check both of them out.
Yeah.
And thank you guys.
Thank y'all so much, because I think he'll be kind of shocked when he sees his YouTube channel, starts getting some subscribers, and just tell him that Deep South sent you. And I want to see the expression on his face, because he doesn't know we're doing this.
Yeah, I think he was just testing the waters and wanted us to see if his how it was working and all. So we just wanted to kind of up it a little bit. Do we have?
Oh, he's TikTok? Up to 97 already.
Do we have TikTok? No, we don't do TikTok.
We don't do TikTok.
And so you guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Lippy, and all the other moderators for being here tonight. Mark, we will be praying for you and your headache.
Yes, and your headache. We will definitely be praying for you.
Y'all keep me in your prayers as I have this tooth done something with next week. And keep Danny in your prayers as his leg has not been too bad. He's not done anything crazy with it yet.
I keep being kind of careful with it.
And so, just as we work through things, and you keep your eyes on the world. That sounds bad, because that's a Christian person shouldn't be paying attention to the world.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
But no, you really do need to watch the world.
But y'all watch Tag's video, the whole video, and I think your heart will be moved about the decision that he had to make, and it moved my heart, and I'm hoping that it'll do the same for y'all.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, we're gonna jump off here and let y'all get some rest tonight. And thank you once again for being here with us and staying with us to the end. Thank you guys from Deep South.